Good day, everybody, or whatever time of it is in your part of the world. I'm the Padre, and that's the Pritch, and the Pritch and the Padre, Padre and the Pritch, the two P's. So, like, not in a pod.
Not in a pod.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So our goal is to share some fun and some spirituality, and hopefully to pass along just what I said, hope, to a lot of people who are suffering during the what I'd like to call a post-COVID period someday. Hopefully, prayerfully, that we'll get to that point someday. And every little 30-minute of gab we do, we try to take a bit of a theme. So today I was hoping we could consider the paradox, and the dictionary is that it sounds contradictory, but holds an abundance of truth.
Wow.
Sounds contradictory, but holds an abundance of truth. And in religion, you hear it. There are a lot of paradoxes, like you got to lose your life. You lose your life to save it. Well, and there are so many others. You can't take it with you. And what I've considered, because I have a lot of funerals, and particularly as I grow older, I've known more people, and more people are calling on me to do a service for someone who's passed. Some of the most difficult funerals I've had in the last year and a half have been of younger people who have the COVID and have been hospitalized for 2 or 3 months, where they couldn't see their children, their grandchildren, or even their spouse, except through a glass window or looking on an iPhone or an iPad or something. And all of a sudden they're gone. And the family just have those memories of, with pictures, and it's not the same as hugging and kissing and embracing. Exactly. And feeling your son has talked about, we've talked about this before, but there is such a paradox to a lot of our lives. And now my first question to Michael today is, can you spell paradox?
No, I cannot. I did not go to the College of North America in Rome. I went to Southeast Missouri State University, SEMO.
You keep saying Rome. We spoke Latin over there.
Oh,
so we need to have a word for paradox.
I knew Maria habuit parvum agnum. Mary had a little lamb.
Yeah.
Father Piacitelli taught me that at the seminary there.
He did.
In St. Louis Prep, yep. And I had his Latin class.
No wonder they threw you out.
He's not kidding. Not making a joke. At my expense? No, I did. Although, many of my good friends, like Harry, went on to great, austere, amazing situations. Cardinal Dolan. And you talked to Denny this week, Doyle, huh?
Yeah, Denny Doyle. John Unger died. He was a classmate as well, right. So he was calling me to tell me that. Anyway, Doyle's fine. He's good. Just old, like many of the guys in my class are old.
Yeah, many of those guys are way older than you, Harry.
Yeah,
and act older.
That's right.
I mean, you act like a 12. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. I just wanted to.
Paradox. Paradox.
Yeah. What do you have any paradox in your life that you could that someone said, oh?
Well, I think the paradox of being a person who, in my life, when I was a comedian, and I liked doing show business, but I mean it fed me the first 6 months. I mean, it was awesome to be in front of thousands of people. But then the irony was I was in front of thousands of people and feeling like I wasn't accomplishing things. Yeah. And the irony was, here you are, you're given a chance, you're making them laugh, and sometimes at people's expense. but then shifting and downshifting to go back into education,
Yeah.
where I had initially, as a probation and parole agent, started, and I thought, okay, this is more suited to what I needed
Yeah.
to
So
do.
what's education and law enforcement? What's the connection there? The
Well-
strongest connection.
Well, I think we have a thing right here in Marin County called it's called SLEP, School Law Enforcement Partnership, where we know we have to partner with them.
Yeah.
Because in order to get prevention going, we have to start early in the schools. So we started, I used to teach DARE all over the country, drug abuse, resistance education, and I would be with DARE officers. We'd hold big conferences. Then I worked in Police Activities League with tons of the guys, where we'd find ways to get the kids off the street and
Yeah.
back into positivity at the Boys and Girls Club, where you could create a brilliant soul who eventually wrote a check for $1 million to Boys and Girls Club, and his name was Denzel Washington. He went to Fordham University and is still, even to this day, is a very spiritual guy, and he's raised his kids spiritually too. I think they give back,
Yeah.
and that's where you realize that. What if you, when you're out there, can create a Denzel? What if you can create a Beyonce? When I was down with my friend Joe Buscaino, who's a good Catholic guy, and he's like the vice mayor of LA, and a brilliant guy and a former detective, he was teaching me that, Beyonce's from San Pedro area and Watts, and had decided that with all her wealth, she was going to teach younger people. And that's what he does. He's been doing that kind of work. And I kind of try to umbrella with those folks and work with those kind of people to help the communities that they're in, because there's so much to learn of newer and more amazingly good ways to get the wealthy to invest in those communities. This is what, if you think about Christ and he created relationships, Joseph of Arimathea's relationship with them paid off.
Yeah. Listen, I want Trevor to bring your coffee in here, because I've put you to sleep several times while we're talking, and if you have coffee, I know it'll go right into your veins.
Red Whale Coffee.
Go
Go ahead. Go ahead, say it.
Red whale? That would be you with lipstick.
Don't put that image in your brain.
Yeah, no.
Don't. Anyway.
So now that you've had your coffee, you could say something sensible.
Well, let me just say this. When I think back of where we were raised in the Midwest,
Yeah.
and isn't it the heartland of the believer? Don't you think? in a way?
Yeah. And
You know?
beliefs in a lot of different things. Some in hunting and fishing.
Sliding that hand into that slide
Catfish.
Catfish.
We never discovered what that was called.
I'll think of it. Kathy Madigan.
Yeah.
Kathleen Madigan has it on her special on. It made me burst out laughing.
Yeah.
'Cause-
So here's some paradox. I wanted to get back to that and tell a little tale that I used before. It's a beautiful teacup. So unlike that plastic piece of coffee cup,
Right.
so imagine a beautiful little teacup. So the guy says, "Look at this beautiful teacup." I said, "Well, it was just a lump of clay, dirt, Well, the lump of clay is put on a wheel, and it goes around, 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 and it's dizziness. And then after that, someone pokes and prods it until it gets a little shape, and that hurts. And then they say, in order to do this, we have to put it in the furnace. Oh, man, that's going to be hot. Then when it comes out, they paint it when all these fumes come into existence, and then they say, we got to put it back in the furnace. So these little things that this beautiful little teacup have gone through, it's kind of what happens to humans in life.
Wow.
we are all made in the image and likeness of God. We're from the dust of the earth, or the dirt of the earth. Remember, your dust,
Clay.
and unto dust you shall return. Whatever that image is from the Old Testament, it's just that. And then you get into life, and you put yourself on a turnstile, and you're going, and you're dizzy about whatever's going on. And then people are coming at you from different sides, wanting you to be this or to do that, or to be this and don't do that. And then they say, oh, okay, well, we got you this far. You're going to have to go into the hot box. And then you come out of the hot box, and someone wants to give you a new image and likeness. So they start painting you, and you say, oh, be yourself, be yourself, be yourself. And then they paint you to be something else. And then finally they say, well, go back into the hot box. Oh, no. But finally, at the end, they say, isn't that a beautiful teacup? Yeah. So that whole continued process, which my image of the teacup, there's thousands of others, but it's a life process that we go through, and sometimes you have to become poor to be rich, or you have, in order to see things as somebody else sees them, you have to go through you got to walk in somebody else's shoes and all of that business. Right. So it's just another example I have of life as you and I go through it. And the teacup, whether it's beautiful or not, is still a teacup. And someone will find it beautiful, someone else may not.
Right.
But the teacup serves a purpose as it is,
Right.
People drink tea out of it.
All in the eye of the beholder, right?
Yeah.
That was, I talked to Rick Henson on Amazing Greats, and I said, do you know what the difference between a dandelion and a rose is? Judgment.
Oh, yeah.
One looks at I think that when you look at a dandelion and you think about when we were kids growing up, our families would rub the dandelion under your chin to see if you liked butter.
No,
And that was,
what was that? Butter.
Yeah, butter. That was to see if yellow would show up. That was an old.
We used to blow the fuzz in each other's face.
Well, there's a difference between St. Louis and Cape Girardeau.
Yeah, no. But dandelion, I guess they have dandelions out here. But
I see them in the front yard.
Oh, at
and
your
my
house?
wife reminds me to go, get busy, weed, do something. But honey, the Giants are on.
Yeah, but honey, I can't bend over.
Yeah. She's right now howling, laughing. She just loves it when you. I don't know why.
Oh boy! So.
But no, I understand and appreciate what you're saying, and the idea of the teacup. It goes through that which doesn't overwhelm us. We can become.
Okay.
Because when I think of our journey in life, what we've both lived through and seen during our days, and
do you know something I don't know? Are our days coming to an end?
I would say that there's so many. If we're still here, there's a reason. That's what I always tell everybody.
Good.
There's something I can do here. So I think that when you think about, when I think of you, I think you tell me what you think the odds are of having met you when you were young, and now you're the pastors of my church that I go to. And the odds of that, having come from both of us, from the Midwest, they got to be astronomical, right? Am I wrong?
No, it's astronomical.
Right. He's still here. Yes. And I still get to just sometimes, while he's working, doing this, I go, just to mock him.
The rolling of eyes.
The rolling of eyes.
Oh, yeah, you would have enjoyed last week, but you weren't there. And we can't talk about this here if you're listening to us, this is the Padre and the Pritch, and we're trying to instill some hope in life after people have been through this terrible COVID period, and so many others who are suffering from different ways of being treated, or in some cases not being treated at all. And while it's so difficult, or it's a paradox for me to try to understand why people don't want to get vaccinated for.
The Holy Father spoke about that this morning.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
But it'll. People in that part of the world.
No, I just watch television. But it was amazing because what he was saying is, it's simple. We go back to Rotary and when we're children, Rotary created the polio vaccine, and it saved millions of lives globally, and we're all in. Mm-hmm. And the same with when we're children, we're vaccinated. I mean, when we were kids growing up, we had to get that polio vaccine. We had to get the smallpox and chickenpox stuff, and there was never a squabble about it. And so it's important for us to all understand that we, science is God, and God is science. It's just that simple to me, because it's a way of alleviating the suffering of human beings, to have doctors and research scientists, women and men, who are so brilliant, they're finding ways to help the medicine save us sometimes. Mm-hmm. And just allow that and practice, the wisdom of applying to be safe and protected and well. And when lonely, when you're sad, when you're isolated, and you're hurting and suffering, find a sense of the spiritual in people like us who love you and want the best for you and your families and your friends and the community we live in.
Going back to this polio thing, I have a niece who married my nephew. She would be my niece-in-law, but she had polio as a young girl and was very successful as a director of musicals, and has made a living being a director.
Theater artist, yeah.
A very talented woman.
Wow.
And she gave birth to a great niece that I have, and she's on crutches and in a wheelchair. And I only visited once when she was going through her pregnancy. But you talk about a sacrifice that both she and my nephew had to make. And even when the child was born, you picture yourself going after a 2-year-old crawling away. Yeah. You can't just get on your crutches and chase them down.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So, they had to do a lot of different things in their home. But they raised a wonderful daughter who's also in show business now. So she's doing very well. And
that's a great story.
Yeah.
And inspiring as well.
She the daughter. What's a musical about Elvis Presley? It was taking place in the 50s, where this guy was a rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's a musical.
Yeah.
She had the lead part in that.
Yeah. With Dick Van Dyke was in it.
Yeah.
And gosh.
Stump the Pritch, it's called.
Bye Bye Birdie.
Bye Bye Birdie. There you go. I knew you'd get it.
Yeah. Took a second.
Yeah. Oh well.
Red Whale Coffee makes you remember things you might have forgotten.
What? Red Whale is just a story.
So, but
in Northern California.
Think about can you imagine being a person whose mother has helped you learn to adjust to your handicapable life, and you get to help sing in the chorus of Put on a Happy Face? And that's in the movie.
See, there you go.
Yeah. Well, I remember that song, because any song that brings that joy to a crowd, and you can feel, I swear, this is true, you can feel a lift in a crowd when you're singing along with them. And in the days when we were kids, we had Mitch Miller, the Ray Conniff singers. Remember, we had folk singing, right, in St. Louis, Gaslight Square.
Right.
And there was so much folk music in those days. And,
Who were those three guys that started
the
on
Kingston Trio, sir.
Kingston Trio? Yeah. Yeah, I used to know all their songs,
Yeah,
the lyrics.
the MTA, you know, did he ever return? No, he never returned.
Okay, time out.
Oh, sorry.
Have another shot of Red Whale coffee.
Red Whale coffee. Whoop.
So there's a king one time, he built this beautiful cathedral kind of like in the woods or outside of town, you know. And there was no electricity, so they didn't have any lights. And people all complained not putting lights in this huge, monstrous cathedral. So the king told everybody, he gave them a lantern. And he said, when you all come into the cathedral, it will be lit.
Wow.
So
Wow.
just that personal, well, and when you're not here, some part of this church will be dark. So it's each one of us has a burning light inside of us that needs to be seen. And
Amen.
if you've lost a lot of hope during this time, or you just feel so down because of the COVID and hearing the bad stories and having to wear a mask and not being able to go to your favorite restaurant, or when you do, you discover they've jacked up the prices quite a bit, because those people have suffered. Anybody who has a open for the public kind of business
Restaurant, yeah.
has suffered a lot, and staying at home isn't the worst thing in the world, because many of us have all the equipment there that we can be in touch with anybody else around the world.
Right.
Staying at home.
Well, I think it's that perspective that you were talking about that's the paradox, the old story of the two guys bearing all the stone walking up the road, and the one guy says, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm carrying a bunch of rocks." He goes, "Oh, okay." He sees the next guy coming up with the exact same kind of load. He goes, "Wow, what are you doing?" He goes, "I'm helping to build a cathedral."
Oh, yeah.
It's in the perspective. And so that cathedral is inside of each and every one of us, is what Harry's talking about.
Yeah.
And we can help each other with that. And we can become the sanctuary in friendship to lonely and lost people. Pick up the phone today. Call somebody, family member, friend. Forgive them. Let them go with love and compassion and connection. Be connected to that forgiveness. And if you've been holding a grudge, you know, blessed are the flexible, they shall not get bent out of shape. Semper Gumby.
And speaking of living cathedrals, you, of course, being as big as you are, bound to be the bell tower because you have bats in your belfry.
Boy, did you know that I played Quasimodo in a commercial?
No.
Yeah. I was on no made of stand like this. Anyway.
What was the commercial?
It was. I swear, you're gonna.
No, don't swear. Just tell me.
Okay,
Truth.
I wasn't actually gonna swear.
No, but just tell me the truth.
Bell Savings and Loan,
Oh,
and it was me playing Quasimodo, and they go Bell Savings and Loan, and they go dong, and I go that rings a bell.
oh, really? That was your line?
Oh, Harry, I got a paycheck for that. My wife was extremely happy. Extremely happy.
You make change for a $5?
Well, I tell you what I had to do was pay for Catholic education for my children at St. Isabella's, and that came in handy.
Oh, good, yeah.
Right? Really, when I think of one thing, just now, my kids and the friendships they've made in Catholic school and Catholic high school, and even in Catholic college, there is no amount of money that cannot make you understand how important it is that they have a spiritual anchor in their life of Christ and compassion. And when they have that, you you become at ease as a mom or a dad or a grandparent. Right? That's what I think.
Yeah.
Best money ever spent for me, I swear.
So we've been considering paradox here today, whatever day it is in your life, and we are happy to be able to bring you the Padre and the Pritch, and hopefully it's now on the fatherharry.org on my web page. Every show we've done so far has been put in.
Good.
So so far I've been sued 3 times. No, just kidding.
Yeah, but he's not. Anyway.
Well, Michael O'Leary is in charge of my webpage, and he's put them on, and will continue putting them on there, and wherever they can reach out with where we're doing this program today. So why don't you tell our audience where this can be found?
Well, it's on YouTube, and it's on our what is called Desire to Inspire Studios web. And we ask you to take an opportunity to look at what we're doing, because what I came to Harry because I said, Harry, there's so many isolated seniors that are lonely. They're watching your mass, but it's not enough of you. It's not enough of the hopefulness and prayer and spirituality that you bring, and the joy and laughter that they could when they meet him. You know, big a knucklehead as I am, I love the guy because he married my wife and I and baptized the kids, and has been a big solid part of my life since I arrived here and back in St. Louis. And what I guess I learned is that when you have spiritual mentors and people that you can say anything to, it's everything to you and everything for you that you need to realize that you're not a survivor. You're a prevailer and an overcomer in faith and spirituality. And that's what I've learned. And I think if you watch our shows, you'll pick up on that, because we need to be together in friendships and laughter. One thing they know over the years, because I work with a lot of wounded over the years, I've learned one thing. What gets you through hard times? Friendship, relationships, companionship, partnerships, those ships. Right?
And in your case, a big ship.
A big ship, battle carrier, aircraft carrier, big boat, and some coffee. Okay.
Thank you all for paying attention, if you could, during this half hour, and we hope to join you. You'll join us again
You dog,
soon.
you, I love you.
The Padre and the Pritch. God bless.